The parking garage under my Seattle apartment building smells like concrete and motor oil. It's a smell I've come to love because it means I'm home. But walking down the ramp that Thursday night, my heels clicking on the smooth floor, something was wrong. The sound echoed differently. Too hollow, too empty. My parking space, number 247, the one I'd paid extra for because it was closest to the elevator, wasn't empty. It was occupied by a 2003 Honda Civic with a cracked bumper and a faded Bernie sticker. My Tesla Model S Plaid. The car I'd bought myself 3 months ago when I made partner at my firm. The car I'd nicknamed Victory because that's what it represented. Was gone. I stood there, my carry-on bag still in my hand from my flight that had landed an hour ago. My phone buzzed. A text from my sister. Welcome home. Hope Tokyo was amazing. The cold that ran through me had nothing to do with the Seattle November air seeping into the garage. I pulled out my phone and opened the app connected to my Ring doorbell camera. I scrolled back 3 weeks, to the day after I'd left for Tokyo. There she was, my sister Vanessa, walking up to my apartment door at 2 a.m. She had a key. I'd given it to her years ago for emergencies. Behind her was a tow truck, its lights flashing against my building's windows. I watched the footage. Watched her let herself into my apartment. Watched her come back out 20 minutes later with my car keys, my registration, my title. Watched her hand them to a man in a polo shirt who looked like every used car salesman who'd ever tried to scam me. Watched my car, my Victory, get loaded onto that truck and driven away. Before I tell you what I did next, drop a comment and let me know. What's the one thing your family did that you can never forgive? I'm reading every single one, because what I'm about to tell you, they're going to say I went too far. But I need you to understand. This wasn't about a car. I didn't go upstairs to my apartment. I didn't call Vanessa. I sat down on the cold concrete floor of that parking garage, my back against the wall, and I opened my laptop. The Wi-Fi reached down here. I knew because I'd worked from this garage before, taking calls while waiting for my Tesla to charge. I logged into the DMV portal. 3 clicks later, I had the record. Vehicle transfer, dated October 28th. Sold to Premium Auto Sales for $95,000. Below the dealer's signature was mine. Except it wasn't mine. It was close. Very close. But the loop on the lowercase a in Maya was wrong. She'd practiced, but she hadn't practiced enough. October 28th. The day I was in a conference room in Tokyo, on a video call with 12 witnesses, arguing a merger case for one of Seattle's biggest tech companies. The timestamp on the meeting minutes said 10 a.m. Pacific, which was 3 a.m. the next day in Japan. The exact time listed on the DMV paperwork. I pulled up my bank statements. I tracked Vanessa's accounts too. Had access from years ago when I'd helped her set up her business, back when I still believed she'd actually turn her lifestyle blog into something real. The $95,000 hadn't stayed in her account for more than 6 hours. I followed the trail, transferred to Coinbase, converted to Ethereum, sent to a wallet address. Then 3 days later, transferred again to something called Moon Rocket Finance. I'd seen enough crypto fraud cases to know what that was. A rug pull. A scam. The developers had vanished with everyone's money. Vanessa had gambled my car on a coin that had crashed to zero within 48 hours. But that wasn't all. I kept digging. Found the other transfers. $30,000 sent to a jewelry store. I cross-referenced the date with her Instagram. She'd posted a photo of a diamond tennis bracelet that same day. Gift from my amazing family, the caption read. Below it, in the comments, my mom had written, "You deserve it, baby girl." I closed my laptop. The investigator in me, the part of me that had spent 6 years in law school and 3 more clawing my way up to partner at one of the most competitive firms on the West Coast, was cataloging evidence. But underneath that, something else was breaking. I took the elevator up to my apartment. Everything looked normal, clean. She'd even watered my plants. There was a note on the kitchen counter. Took great care of everything. Your place is so cute. Love you. With a heart drawn next to her name. I walked into my bedroom, opened my jewelry box. My grandmother's ring, the one she'd given me before she died, the one that was worth more in memory than money, was gone. In its place was a note. Borrowed this for my engagement photos. Will give it back soon. It photographs so well. That was the moment. That was the exact second the sister in me died. The part that had paid her rent when she was between opportunities. The part that had co-signed her car loan when no one else would. The part that had believed her when she said she was finally getting her life together. It didn't crack. It didn't bend. It shattered into powder and blew away. I sat on my bed. I didn't cry. I pulled out my phone and opened my photos. I scrolled back to 3 years ago. Vanessa, calling me at midnight, sobbing. She'd been evicted. I'd paid her landlord $6,000 to let her stay. 2 years ago. She'd crashed her car. No insurance. I'd bought her the Honda Civic that was now sitting in my parking space. 18 months ago. Her credit card was maxed. I'd paid it off. $11,000. I kept a spreadsheet. Not because I expected her to pay me back, but because I was a lawyer, and lawyers track everything. The total was $68,437, plus my car, plus my grandmother's ring, plus the trust I'd spent 28 years building. I stood up, walked to my closet, changed out of my travel clothes into jeans and a sweater, pulled my hair into a ponytail. I looked at myself in the mirror. I didn't look like someone whose life had just been stolen. I looked like someone going to get coffee. Good. I drove my rental car to the Seattle Police Department. Not the precinct closest to me. The one downtown, where the detectives who handled major theft cases worked. I walked up to the desk sergeant with my laptop bag and a folder I'd printed at the FedEx store on the way. I need to file a report for grand theft auto and identity theft, I said. And I have all the evidence you need for an arrest warrant. The sergeant looked at me. Looked at the folder. I opened it. Inside was everything. The DMV transfer, with the forged signature. My passport showing I was in Tokyo. The time-stamped video conference. The bank records showing the Coinbase transfer. The blockchain explorer showing the wallet addresses. Screenshots of Vanessa's Instagram, geotagged in Seattle, wearing the bracelet purchased with my car money. The ring camera footage. The spreadsheet of every dollar I'd given her over the years, showing a pattern of financial dependence. I'd built cases that put corporate fraudsters in federal prison. My sister had just handed me the easiest case of my career. The sergeant called Detective Sarah Reeves. She took one look at the folder and picked up her phone. "How fast can we get a judge?" she asked. Someone on the other end. "She's my sister," I said. Detective Reeves looked at me. "Does that change anything?" "No." 40 minutes later, I was signing a formal complaint. The warrant would be signed by the end of the day. I drove back to my apartment. I needed to know where Vanessa was. I opened her Instagram. She was hosting an event, a brand sponsorship thing for some new wellness supplement company. The post said she'd be at the Fairmont Olympic Hotel in the Grand Ballroom at 7 p.m. "Come meet me and learn about the supplement that changed my life." It was 6:15. I had 45 minutes. I didn't change clothes. I didn't put on makeup. I got back in my rental car and drove downtown. The traffic was heavy, the rain coming down in sheets the way it does in Seattle. I parked in the hotel garage and walked through the lobby. I could hear music coming from the Grand Ballroom. I followed it. The room was set up like a product launch. Maybe 50 people, mostly women in their 20s and 30s, sitting in chairs facing a small stage. Vanessa was on that stage, wearing a dress I'd never seen before. Something expensive, probably purchased with my money. She was mid-sentence when I walked in, and that's when I realized. She was saying that investing in yourself is the most important thing you can do. I used to let fear hold me back, but now I take risks. I bet on myself. I walked down the center aisle. People turned to look at me. I was wet from the rain, my hair starting to frizz, my jeans dark with water. Vanessa stopped talking. She stared at me. "Maya," she said, her voice bright and fake. "You're back. Everyone. This is my baby sister. She's a lawyer." "I am," I said. I reached the stage. "Can I borrow the microphone?" Vanessa's smile faltered. "We're kind of in the middle of something. It'll just take a minute." I held out my hand. She had two choices. Make a scene, or give it to me. She chose to give it to me. I took the microphone. Looked out at the audience. "My name is Maya Chen," I said. "I'm a corporate attorney. 3 weeks ago, my sister stole my car. A Tesla Model S Plaid worth $125,000. She forged my signature, sold it to a dealer, and gambled the money on cryptocurrency. She lost everything." The room went silent. Vanessa reached for the microphone. I stepped back. "She's lying," Vanessa said. Her voice was shrill. "Maya, what are you doing?" I pulled out my phone, connected it to the presentation screen behind the stage. The hotel's AV system was good. Within seconds, my phone screen was projected 10 feet tall. I showed them the DMV record, the forged signature. "This is my real signature," I said, pulling up a document I'd signed that morning. "See the difference?" I showed them the bank transfers. $95,000. Converted to Ethereum. Lost in a scam. I showed them her Instagram post with the bracelet. $30,000. Purchased the same day she sold my car. Vanessa was trying to get to me, but the event coordinator, a man in a headset, was blocking her way. He was staring at the screen. "The police are outside," I said. "They have a warrant for her arrest. Grand theft auto. Identity theft. Forgery. She's been stealing from me for 3 years. I have records of every dollar. $68,437 before the car." I looked at Vanessa. She was frozen. Her face had gone white. "You told me I was selfish," I said. "You told me I made too much money and didn't share enough. You told me family helps family. But you know what family doesn't do? They don't forge signatures. They don't steal cars. They don't gamble away someone else's future because they're too lazy to build their own." I disconnected my phone, handed the microphone back to Vanessa. She didn't take it. It fell to the stage floor with a loud thump through the speakers. I walked out of the ballroom. Detective Reeves was in the lobby with 2 uniformed officers. "She's on the stage," I said. They went in. I heard Vanessa scream. "You can't do this. She's my sister. Maya, tell them." I didn't go back in. I walked out to the parking garage, sat in my rental car. My hands were shaking now. I gripped the steering wheel and waited for them to stop. My phone rang. "My mom," I answered. "What did you do?" she screamed. "The police just arrested Vanessa, at her event, in front of everyone. Her sponsors are pulling out. You destroyed her." "She destroyed herself," I said. "She made a mistake. She was going to pay you back." "With what money, Mom?" "She lost everything in a crypto scam. You could have talked to her. You could have worked it out. But you had to be vindictive. You had to ruin her." I closed my eyes. "Did you know?" Silence. "Did you know she stole my car? She told me she borrowed it." "Borrowed. With a forged signature and a bill of sale. She said you weren't using it. You were in Japan. What's the point of having a car you don't drive?" There it was. The same logic Vanessa had used. In their minds, my success wasn't earned. It was hoarded. My possessions weren't mine. They were family resources. I was selfishly keeping to myself. "I'm done," I said. "You can't be done. She's your sister. I'm your mother. You can't just abandon family. Watch me." I hung up. She called back. I declined it. She called again. I blocked her number. My phone buzzed with a text from my dad. "Your mother is hysterical. Fix this," I replied. "Vanessa committed multiple felonies. She's facing 2 to 5 years. If you try to pressure me to drop charges, I'll add witness intimidation to the list. Stay out of it." He didn't respond. The next morning, I met with the insurance company. The dealer who'd bought my Tesla had filed a claim. They'd verified the sale was fraudulent. He got his $95,000 back from the title insurance. The insurance company's legal team was now going after Vanessa for fraud. They had lawyers on retainer who made my firm look small. I didn't have to lift a finger for the civil case. They were handling it. I got a call from Detective Reeves. "Your sister made bail. $10,000. Your mother posted it." "Okay, there's more." We pulled her bank records with the warrant. "She received $10,000 from your mother 2 days after she sold your car. We're investigating whether your mother was an accessory." "Good. You're not going to ask me to go easy on her?" "No." Detective Reeves was quiet for a moment. "I've been doing this for 15 years. You know how many family theft cases I've seen where the victim actually presses charges? Maybe 10%. Everyone else drops it. Says it's not worth it. Says family is family. Family is supposed to protect you," I said. "Not rob you." 3 days later, Vanessa's lawyer called me, a public defender. She couldn't afford a private attorney. All her accounts had been frozen pending the civil case. "My client wants to know if you'd be willing to accept restitution in exchange for dropping the criminal charges," he said. "How much restitution?" "She's willing to work out a payment plan. She doesn't have a job. She doesn't have assets. She doesn't have anything except debt and pending lawsuits from the brands she was promoting." "Where's this money coming from?" Silence. "She's hoping your parents will help," he said finally. I laughed. It wasn't a happy sound. "Tell her no. She goes to trial. Miss Chen, I have to advise you that this could permanently damage your relationship with your family. It's already damaged. She drove the car through it when she stole mine." The lawyer tried again. "She's your sister." "I know. That's why it's a felony." I hung up. My mom called from a different number. I answered because I didn't recognize it. "You heartless bitch," she said. "Your father and I gave you $20,000 for the down payment on your apartment. We're entitled to that back. We're suing you for our share." I'd been waiting for this. I pulled up the file I'd prepared. That $20,000 was a gift. I have the paperwork. You signed a gift letter for my mortgage, stating it was a gift with no expectation of repayment. That's a legal document. If you try to claim now that it was a loan, you'll be admitting you lied on a federal mortgage application. That's mortgage fraud. 30 years in prison. $1 million fine. Do you want to go there? I could hear her breathing. I didn't think so, I said. Don't call me again. The line went dead. 2 weeks later, Vanessa's trial date was set. Her public defender tried to get the charges reduced. The DA refused. The evidence was too strong. She was facing 3 felony counts. Her boyfriend broke up with her, posted about it on Facebook. I can't be with someone who lies and steals. I deserve better. He returned the engagement ring she'd bought with my money. The insurance company seized it as an asset. Her apartment complex evicted her. She moved back in with my parents. Her Instagram followers dropped from 125,000 to 8,000 in 2 weeks. Every brand that had ever worked with her posted statements distancing themselves from her. 3 of them sued her for damaging their reputation. I drove past my parents' house one day, saw Vanessa's car in the driveway, the same Honda Civic I'd bought her. I thought about stopping, thought about going in and seeing if she'd learned anything. I kept driving. My therapist asked me if I felt guilty. No, I said. Not even a little? Should I? She's your sister. She was my thief first. The therapist nodded, wrote something down. Do you think I went too far? I asked. She looked at me. Do you? I thought about it. Really thought about it. The storage unit of destroyed memories in the original story had been photographs. For me, it was 3 years of supporting someone who saw me as an ATM. The car wasn't the crime. It was the final crime in a pattern. No, I said. I don't. The trial was set for February. Vanessa's lawyer reached out one more time in January. She's willing to plead guilty to 1 count if you write a letter supporting a reduced sentence. No, Miss Chen. She's going to prison. You've won. Can't you show some mercy? I thought about the Ring camera footage. Vanessa letting herself into my apartment at 2 a.m., taking what wasn't hers. I thought about her Instagram post. The bracelet. Gift from my amazing family. I thought about my mom's voice. She was going to pay you back. She showed me mercy when she destroyed my property? I asked. She showed me mercy when she forged my signature? When she gambled away 6 figures of my money? When she stole my grandmother's ring? Where was her mercy? She's family. Then she should have acted like it. Vanessa took a plea deal. 18 months in county jail. 3 years probation. Full restitution of $125,000, plus the $68,000 she'd taken over the years. She'd be paying me back for the rest of her life. My mother sent me a letter. I didn't open it. I dropped it in the trash. My dad texted me one more time. Was it worth it? Destroying your family? I replied. I didn't destroy anything. I just stopped rebuilding what they kept breaking. He didn't text again. I bought a new Tesla Model S Plaid in midnight blue. I named this one Freedom. I moved to a new apartment, a high-rise downtown with better security. No one has my address. No one has a key. The parking garage requires 2 forms of ID. I stood on my balcony tonight, looking out at the Seattle skyline. The Space Needle lit up in the distance, the sound of the city below. For the first time in my adult life, I'm not the family's safety net. I'm not the one they call when they need money. I'm not the good daughter who sacrifices herself to keep everyone else afloat. I'm just Maya. The price was high. I lost my mother. I lost my sister. I lost the fantasy that family meant unconditional love. But I kept my integrity. I kept my self-respect. I kept my boundaries. My dad texted me last week. Just 1 line. Your mother wants to talk. I didn't reply. Because here's what I learned. Forgiving someone who hurt you is a gift you give yourself. But forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. It doesn't mean giving them another chance to do it again. It doesn't mean letting them back into your life. I forgave Vanessa. I forgave my mother. Not for them. For me. So I could stop carrying the weight of their choices. But I didn't forget. And I didn't let them back in. The detective called me yesterday. My mother was being investigated for receiving stolen property. The $10,000 transfer. The DA was deciding whether to file charges. Do you want us to pursue it? Detective Reeves asked. I thought about it. Yes, I said. Because accountability isn't cruelty. It's the only thing that creates change. My therapist asked me last session if I had any regrets. I looked at her. I regret that I didn't do this sooner. I regret that I enabled them for so long. I regret that I believed them when they said family helps family, while I was the only one helping. And pressing charges? I'd do it again. She smiled, wrote something down. I think you're going to be okay. I think so too. I'm not a daughter trying to earn love by giving money anymore. I'm not a sister who sacrifices herself to keep the peace. I'm a woman who knows her worth, who protects what's hers, who doesn't apologize for having boundaries. If you've ever chosen yourself over being the good daughter, you understand. If you've ever walked away from people who only loved what you could give them, you know. This isn't about revenge. It's about freedom. I'm finally free. And if my family ever wonders why I cut them off, why I pressed charges, why I didn't just let it go, I have one answer. You should have thought of that before you stole my car.